With Black Ops 4 moving to a 5v5 setup for multiplayer, some people have been asking whether or not the competitive COD scene would be moving in a similar direction. If the CWL did go to 5v5, we'd probably see a ton of changes in team strategies, roster mania times 10, and who knows what other kind of impacts. Today, Connor and I are going to discuss some of our viewpoints on a potential 5v5 competitive setting. Connor, what do you think?
Well, short answer, it's a terrible idea. Long answer,
Agreed.
It's also a terrible idea, but I'll tell you why. So, assuming that they're adjusting this game so everything works smoothly with 5v5, that would be, making competitive 5v5 also would be the equivalent of making competitive in this last game 6v6. It would just be terrible. One of the main reasons why it's so hard to play competitive is because you're only one of 4 on a team, and if one person doesn't do something, it hurts the team so much. If it was 5v5, it would take away a lot of that pressure. It would make the game totally different on so many different levels that we can't even get into in this video. That it would just be terrible. And I know that a lot of other first-person shooters competitively are 5v5. Like you have Counter-Strike. But that game is so different than COD. I'm so tired of people saying, well, Counter-Strike did it. Why doesn't COD do it? Because it's a different game. It's so different. There's so much strategy to 5v5 in Counter-Strike. Also, Counter-Strike is basically like playing glorified Search and Destroy. If you're telling me that you want to make 5v5 Search and Destroy, okay, maybe. Playing 5v5 Hardpoint would be the worst thing to ever happen to competitive Call of Duty.
No, yeah, that 4v4 component, it's just the right level where if you get a kill or two, you've now opened up a huge part of the map. You've broken stuff down. Having that extra player would make things a little easier. Map control would be a little bit easier. You'd probably see a lot less scoring, even like when you capture the flag, you'd be able to throw an extra player out there. The other thing is just the rosters, in my mind. From a sort of like a financial and just stability sense, you have all these rosters that are right now kind of moving, but imagine not knowing the certainty of your roster and then being told, oh, you also have to find another player. The biggest problem there might not be to find the players. You could start pulling from amateur teams. There's a lot of people in those amateur level teams that were actually used to be at the CWL level, but now you have teams like Optic or 100 Thieves that actually have the money to pay the best players. So you're going to sort of see, you would see a bigger gap. This last season, we saw awesome competition. Almost every event, you had 5, 6, 7, 8 teams that all could have won the tournament if they had just brought it. They were all pretty evenly matched. But if you have that 5v5, then the good teams just take more good players, and then the bad teams are still left with less. Then you just go right back to, Optic and 1 or 2 other teams are probably just the dominant forces in the next game. And I can't see that make for good and exciting time.
Yeah, it would basically be the equivalent of if you wanted to make the NBA 6v6. You would take the best players from the bad teams, and then the bad teams would no longer even be a little bit competitive. It'd be like now if, say, we have 15 or 16 competitive-ish teams. I'm talking about teams that if you watch them in the CWL, they can put up a fight and maybe beat the top teams. Because there's a lot of fluctuation in the CWL this year. I'm not saying winning tournaments. I'm saying competitive in these matches. You would basically cut off the bottom 4 or 5 teams. They would just instantly not stand a chance because they would get their best players taken, and they'd have to pick up 2 worse players. That's exactly what would happen, and it would just be bad for competitive Call of Duty. It'd be very bad.
And then, after this Call of Duty, we have to look to following Call of Duties. Is just because this game's 5v5 doesn't mean that future games are going to be 5v5, which means if those games are built for 6v6, you'd have to go right back to 4v4. So let's say CWL went to 5v5 this year, and next year it was like, okay, back to 4v4. You now take all of these players, all of the worst players on those teams, instantly get cast out, and they're all left trying to find a new team to be on and trying to organize new teams. It would just be really chaotic for the CWL scene. You'd lose a lot of brand recognition. I'm sure a lot of teams would die out in that 5v5, and then they'd have to try and probably form completely new teams in the following year. So now you don't have consistency in the teams that you're watching. people would probably get confused. Optic again would just sort of become that dominant. You know, everyone would just go to Optic as like for the fanfare because your favorite players are going to be there again. So I can't see it being good for even the future of Call of Duty. Keeping in mind longevity of competitive, if we can't guarantee that this COD and future CODs are going to have a 5v5 setup, then now would definitely not be the time to do that.
Well, another thing we have to talk about is prize pools. So what, the players are just going to split the prize pool between an extra person? Or is CWO going to have to step up and put more money into the prize pools for the top team? Because players do not want to make less money for winning a tournament. They don't want to share it with an additional person. So it's just, someone needs to come out soon and just put an end to this. Because I'm tired of seeing people go, oh, well, who do you think Optic's going to pick up, for their 5th? It's like, they don't even have a 4th yet. They don't, what do you mean they're going to pick up for their 5th? Why are we talking about this? And I have a feeling the pros know, and, they just didn't make an official announcement, because it would put a total twist on roster mania, if there was going to be 5v5. Yes. So, I have a feeling that they know and they're just not saying it, but they should just come out and say it, and then we can stop worrying about this silly
That'd be nice.
Talk.
Yeah.
After this video comes out, preferably.
Yeah. So for everyone out there, I feel like you can rest easy. I cannot see any positives to going with 5v5. There really is none.
I would be very, very, very surprised if it happens, and you guys can come back and comment on this video and call me an idiot if it happens. Because I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen. But let us know in the comments what you think is going to happen with the 5v5 thing.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed today's video. We're going to release new content every Wednesday and Saturday. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to catch all our latest content. We are bracking out.